Okay, so this is my part two. Part two, because I'm getting more and more clarity collectively or individually. Let's give gratitude to Source, to the Most High, and so forth. I realized, like, in getting this insight, it's just a spiritual. I'm jokingly saying it's spiritual ass whooping, but spiritual insight, clarity, and also discipline. We ask ourselves, why would we want to know or come into the awareness of doing better for ourselves or being better as human beings or people? What's keeping us from that? So I'm going to speak on performance again. It doesn't matter who you put before me or in this world in the last 100 years. There are some people, like, once you look at on a frequency level, on a vibration, who came here, who start to realize, such as your Prince, such as your people, who start to realize early that they were performing. And the performance is just another way of saying, like, they just basically came into this deeper awareness or bigger picture of things and start to realize, like, the powers that ain't or used to be or so forth wasn't really, in a way, allowing them to express themselves or be their authentic self, because that's the goal of preying on childhood wounds or making sure that they have limited access, I guess you can say. But one thing that's the beauty of all of this, that people who came here on their mission, whatever their lesson on a deeper level as a soul or whoever it is to come here to get, is to realize, like, for them, they actually came into that awareness. That was probably their mission. And for some of them, they accepted that in that role that they knew that they will be, I meant to say this on the last video, but it's like a programming coming along and to update something. And it's a specific type of database, or what do you call that shit? Like something that comes in and just updates the whole system. That's how I look at, like, life, like people. There's always these people that come along that has this huge impact or vital impact on humanity fearlessly, or they come into this fearless aspect of who they are and unapologetically learn to just express who they are and love it. And they just focus, like, on the bigger picture, is that they focus on their mission. They get what they need to do, they do what they need to do, and they enjoy it, and then they move forward. And some may say into the next lifetime, some may even say they go to a place with fire and brimstone and all this stuff because they chose not to live a life that you felt they should live. How fucking idiotic is that? How can you have this obligation or this authority and power to throw someone into something? Sounds a little manipulative and controlling to me. Sounds a little irate. But anyway, performing. How have you lived in the world of performing? I'll just say this. If you grew up with a mother and father with deep insecurities, most likely when you're dealing with this society, there are not a lot of people with a lot of confidence and self-confidence, and there's a lot of performing going around. When you look at sports, everything dealing with who's number one and who's the best performer, who's performing the best, even if, in your jobs and careers and stuff, you're not performing. We've been looking at your performance in the last, hold on, let me this out of here. You know how they do. When they sit across from you. Sherelle, we've been looking at your last performance and data, and it's just not adding up, and so we're gonna let you go. Shit's so fucking. Cause y'all know it's real. Ray, Keisha, I'm just giving out funny ass names. names, because this is why I realized, like, I so grateful that I'm not a part of that shit. Like, bitch, I'm not gonna perform for. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. The shift is here. I'm not going to do it. You're not gonna make me. I'm not afraid to leave this world. So what I'm getting at is this: is like, yo, how can people have not? When you look at even like I look at just descriptions in jobs, certain things, they're asking for certain things. They're asking of you to have this and have that. Then for some of you, you don't went to school and got all these things just for you to perform a certain way, and still realize that what they say you're over. Not to mention dealing with certain corporations and structures I've told y'all before that was built off not honoring a feminine archetype, not having empathy, so they don't care to hire you on, especially depending on if you're indigenous or even are qualified. Then they'll tell you that you're overqualified. Shout out to those who probably are going to see this video that are considered in their world unemployed, but you are just being positioned. Just the fact of being who you are and creating a whole nother world that will have to adjust to you. That's what evolution is. You're having to adjust to the new world, to the new order of things. That's what I am a force for. So these are my guidelines. Because I ain't performing for nobody. I got time. I ain't got time. If I know I'm coming in with the intentions on being myself, loving myself, sharing my energy and doing certain things, what the fuck I need to care about who I'm performing for and so forth. Why? No, I'm not. I didn't realize, like, I was talking about previous connections. Oh, did I say this? Let's give honor to the source creator, Most High, making all this possible. Way also to the ancestors. No. But when I look at relationships, again, people performing. Who can be the best boyfriend? Who can be the best girlfriend? All this shit is it shows how emotionally unavailable people have been in their childhood dealing with people like that. And it shows the emotional instability, insecurity, unstableness around having to prove and perform for the world stage. Social media is a perfect example. I have to perform. I have to show you that I'm beautiful. I have to show you that my abs, my arms are the biggest. This is if it resonates with you. I have to show you how big my buns are, and I have to show you like how fast I can move it, how I can lure you in, how much attention. I have to show you that I can grasp your attention. Bro, y'all gotta realize if I ever on stage, I am the spokesman, like empowering speaker. Like it's gonna be so comical, it's so authentic, it's so unserious, bro. It's gonna be serious and so unserious. I'm gonna be so unserious. I'm just be real with you. I'm gonna be so fucking playful because it's going to make you realize, like, what the fuck have I been doing? So again, how have we not been performing? And for who? That immediately brings up insecurities or instability in some type of space or place, whether childhood development, foundations that we grew up in. I have to be the best no matter what. I have to ignore my well-being and perform the best. If I don't, I'm a failure. If I don't do less, then I failed everybody. That's some insecure ass shit. That's some bullshit. That's why some people can't handle injury. That's why some people can't handle what is called divine intervention, where something is forcing them to sit down or forcing them to see certain things. This is why they're not able to handle it. because they've been performing for their mothers and fathers most of their life. They didn't make it to that college. They did this, and now they feel like they failed. And I'm just giving you examples. Not all people feel like this. I'm giving you what the world has created for children. Performing, schools, performing. How is he performing in school? Oh, Johnny's doing great, or Ray, not so well. All this shit performing. Then comparing the children. Well, statistics say that these children are more successful because they're performing at a higher level and they're more valuable. See, performance automatically devalues children and people and humans. When you're performing, when you have to be on the stage and you never rest, no one knows what goes on backstage. No one knows what goes on backstage. Let's get into deeper when it comes to relationships. People have built communities, corporations, vlogs, all kind of shit off performing. Let me perform to the best of my ability. Let me show them everything that I want them to see. Performing. Let me just show them this. Let me dress up the perfect way. Performing is another way of saying fake it till you make it. Why you gotta be fake till you make what? You just fucking fake. Fake it till you, fake what? What do I need to fake? I told you, I gotta make sure shawty know that I ain't no fake ones, bro. I gotta make sure. Nah, I'ma show me that I'm not fake. I'ma honor my emotions because, see, performing to have your ass out here not feeling like you need to be vulnerable for you, not being empathetic for you, having performance is all of what society has said a man should be, a woman should be, a person, whether they are a part of a certain community, has to be, whether they like same sex, whatever it is. It's so much shit. Insecurity is built around performance. Who can be better heterosexual? What do they call it? Who can be the best heterosexual? Who can be the best pansexual? Who can be the best, and I use this term as just a representation of people who subscribe to the word gay. Who can be the best gayest person? Who can be the best gayest community? Who could perform the gayest? Who could perform the straightest? Who could perform the bias? The reason I'm saying this is just like, how it gets people away from, why do you have to perform and project your identity or your sense of self from such an insecure place? Why does the world have to know so much about you? Sis. Let me tell you, I told you I've been to events amongst people, people who subscribe themselves to be film. I ain't gonna get into the other stuff because I know kids watch this, but they just, I'm getting at. Those who know relate. And the reason I'm getting on this topic is because I see a performance in even the fact of like how insecurities or how people have developed an identity around that to prey on other people. That's what I'm not okay with. That's what I'm not okay with. And I even had to go through the experience. I don't feel shame and guilt around none of the versions of me. I went through those experiences. I connect with those people. I've been around it, but I've been in those experiences to see the hatred people have and how they build not websites. It's words that I'm looking for. Like, it's how they try to build an identity around it from a self-hatred place, from a place of insecurities, to attack whether people that are darker, whether people who don't look like them, whether people who it's not their preference, and build it around it to attack, let's say, women, to attack, to belittle, or undermine people who are not like them. And for those who know, like, this shit has been going on hundreds of years. It's been, I don't even need to say, it's been going on. People who carry that spirit, it's a, whether people subscribe to it or in the realm of those things, it's also what I call out is the abuse of power with people like that. Where you normally know, again, you're performing. You want to make other people feel less than what they are. It's a difference if someone's calling out someone who is harming people along the way and trying to protect, let's say, women who prefer to date men who are not into other men. And then you have things where putting them in danger, their well-being mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and so forth, because you know, diseases, STD, stuff like that. That's a different thing. Shout out to people who are supporting that, because I support that, encourage people. It's like the mindfulness around that, because people are really dealing with shit that, it could be something through childhood development, through some type of abuse young, and they get into this world and get into these things where they use that resentment or anger and project it, or use it as a catalyst to promote whatever it is, dysfunction, division amongst people, and even to protect themselves, protect the image, again, performing. I had to get that out because, again, I rock with people from all walks of life. And I'm very much aware of people who have used that as a performing tactic to hide behind their image, because their intentions are really to destroy or to manipulate. They have wicked intentions, and that's going to be exposed. That's why a lot of these corporations and stuff like that, so many things are built upon that. Like, oh my God, this is other terms that a lot of people use that I'm not getting into, but again, performing. The illusion of performing. Performance in another way is like pretending that you are, to protect your image is pretending that you are like-minded or want to be a part of people who maybe look like you or don't look like you, but you have to perform and protect the image or the corporation, the business, to make it seem just for your dollars, just for your business, just for your sales. All them fucking illusions are crumbling. Let's talk about it. Performance. People performing on the world stage too. People who have said that they'd preferably people not to wear their stuff, and y'all gotta realize performance is only a form of deep, like, I feel, insecurity or fear of things collapsing. And you're seeing it more and more of people who have had the intentions on creating things with not it connecting to or benefiting, the collective or people. And so this is how karma is going to come around and realize that they can no longer perform or hold the mask up. It's just like when you look at drama. I'm dozing off like I speak, but it's just like when you look at like when I say stage and how people perform, it's just like you got this world is like the world is like a what do you call it? Like a what's the word I'm looking for? Hold on one moment. So performance is like, like to break it down, like if you are ever have ever been into like those who know like screenplays or been a part of scripts or stage plays and stuff like that, then you have what they call like main character. And that's why I feel like when we're in this age of Aquarius, it's like we're moving away from main character and energy. So now Aquarius is like how everybody from the stage, from the stage director, the I'm trying to think about the titles, like if an orchestra, you're talking about the conductor, like the people who put up, the coordination when it comes to the stage, the lights and all that. That's what I see like when you talk about going from performance, everybody focus on the performance, like just, oh, wow, look at that, that person, this person stood out in this, instead of seeing the bigger picture and considering the fact of like behind the scenes, you don't know what took all of that effort for it to happen the way it did. And this is, and what's coming over me when I say that is like, when you see an America or countries or how it came to be, what is going to dissolve or like fade away to the back, to behind the scenes, are those like leaders and certain people that have been in position, athletes, people of certain status, who have had this stage presence to be portrayed as main character or leading role energy. But what they have forgotten about or gotten to on their high horse or self-righteous, they've forgotten about what the fuck it took for them to get there. So when you talk about things ancestrally, when you talk about things from, generationally what's taken to get there, then you will see how they will be pushed into the audience, and then a new wave or a new order of things will be presented where it considers everyone. These are people who have been on stage. Like, it's very apparent when it comes to people of certain status, certain things, that like their energy represents unevolved, and an unevolved aspect of what humanity has been, an unevolved version of what no longer resonates with the collective or humanity. So now, what's apparent is that you're going to be able to see the exposure on so many levels of how they've been keeping up this performance, and only can keep it up until where now the curtain has closed. And so they're in their walks of life, the curtain could be closing and looks different for a lot of us, for a lot of them. And well, for them, and they know who they are. And this is their choosing, because again, they have had the opportunity just as anyone else, which they're not exempt, with learning the lessons to evolve and to elevate for that, to have a part or a position in the new order of things. And see, the reason I say this is so vital, because as we start to become more clear on people who have performed, we'll realize, like, in taking consideration that how selfish they have been and how they just more focus on the limelight. The focus has to be on them. And if you pay close attention, you will be able to see exactly who I'm talking about. And with that, the only thing they'll end up doing is like, they'll burn themselves out, but it's like a actor or actress or someone who's trying to sign up for the same role, and they don't realize like that role doesn't exist anymore. That movie is outdated. People don't care about that certain or particular role or movie, or that's the shift. They're wanting something new. They're wanting something that connects more deeper, that connects them to other people, that connects them to the bigger picture of things. And so right now, as in the closing act, you're seeing like, for some, they are seeing like the closing act, but also the preview of what's to come. So again, performing is just like those who play all the parts in how the performing arts. When you think about the word performing arts, art is not just a word, it's something sacred. When you look at martial arts, when you look at anyone who knows about dabbling or in the arts, magic and shit, all of this shit that we do is a representation or a self-expression of something majestic, something magical, something creative, something spiritual. So again, when you see how people have performed and what they're doing, they are only creating from whatever, they're only going to create more of the reality that they choose to be in, the world that they choose to be in. That's not our decision to choose that for them. They're choosing that shit. That's their free will. And when you don't choose to evolve, when the world is shifting, then it's just like something that's outdated in the computer. The motherfucker get thrown out. The computer becomes outdated. You have to update the fucking system. And that's all we're going through. When you say, people talking about, some call it reset, bitch. This is an update. When you download something, you update it. Like, you update it. And the beauty of all of this is like how even more amazed things are, and how balanced things is and coming into fruition. And so like it's interesting because like I said, performance has been such a prominent thing to distract the masses and people and so forth. And so now that, again, people can't perform in their relationships, their connections, their community, and so forth, and all like this, it's like, it's just something that's outdated. I'm gonna just leave it with this. It's just like a child that gets a new toy or gets something new, and they play with it for a little while, they give their attention to it, and it just don't resonate with them anymore. They just throw it out. If we can learn to look at life like that, and I'm not saying like get something and appreciate it, because I'm not one that's fond of toys. I would say more like just what we've been giving our focus to, and realizing that you no longer have an attachment or a connection to it, and you just simply outgrow it. And that's the thing about what's unfolding, is we've outgrown the old world, the old narrative. The people who are, again, I call them performers because that's what they do. That's what they call themselves. They are the opening act, and when you are acting, you have a script. And it doesn't matter who they are, they have a script. And that's why you hear people say, like, it's your destiny is already written. Motherfucker can't swap shit with nobody. It's written. It's written that you would even attempt, but they cannot stop it. No one can sometimes I sit here and used to tell myself, like, a lot of shit is push for fear tactics. If the divine, the source say your ass is going to reach hundreds of millions of billions, and you're going to speak to hundreds of millions of people and so forth, and it's been given to you through some type of divine insight, whether vision, whether dream, whatever it is, it's going to happen. And what was probably in the way of your progression of that is things that try to attempt to delay, distract, people being on your path to try to, put that in your path or to manipulate you. And that's a whole nother spiritual thing, or warfare, or even if you want to call them generational curses, or the fact of like certain things that, again, that is beyond your control. But again, performance is something that I realized like is not the same as being authentic. You've had a lot of people that have tried to come along and create things, and in their lifetime or in their life, to where they managed to get through it. They did it. It was very challenging simply because they probably were outnumbered, out-resourced, and so forth. But now I realize like a lot of that had to happen just to prepare those like me and others who are realizing that we was not supposed to be a part of certain things, and we were supposed to create it in our own unique way and rebuild as other things are being dismantled and destroyed, so that others can come along and just simply be themselves and be authentic and honor who they are and love themselves through it, without guilt or shame, or without the sense of a foundation built again upon performing and trying to feel like they have to perform for the world, or which again is related to like almost seeking validation or external validation for the world. You have, like, when I look at how you have to have a certain amount of views, you have to have a certain amount of certain things, you have to have this and that just to be somebody. That's ridiculous when it comes to the source or the creator of like how things are natural order of things. Like, well, you're already unique, you're already somebody. It's destiny, it's written. It's the awareness around that it never matter what you've had to prove. That's what the old world and the powers that used to be wanted our children, or even us as adults, to believe like we had to have this certain degree, we had to live in this neighborhood, we had to do this, perform to get here and do that, but never tell you the backstory on how a lot of people got there. The way they did it and so forth. We're not supposed to do it that way. We don't have to do it that way. So, yeah, Asher, are you performing or are you being you? Peace and blessings, shalom.